In FY18 and 19, responsibility for training, particularly the Cyber Mission Force, will transition from the National Security Agency to the services. And so the timing of this course is really set to make sure that as this transition occurs, that we look at setting up the best practice in that transition phase. What should the training look like? Who are we trying to recruit? So I stood up essentially a prototype training course, which I call the Cyber Operations Academy course. The purpose of it was to examine the learning practice, the art of teaching someone cyber, and say, what is the best way to do that? The results that we're getting out of the Cyber Operation course will be used to build the roadmap for the transition strategy from the NSA to the services. There's pretty much agreement between my office and others in this business, the NSA in particular, that believe that how we're training our people today, actually what we're training our people today, is correct. That what it is that we're teaching is, we pretty much have that base covered. But there is a growing agreement in the community that how we're teaching it needs to be relooked. The approach since the Victorian period to mass production of education has been this industrialized model where it's a very rigid, structured course. It's a teacher-centric thing, and it's classroom-based, lecture-based, and the ratio is 1 to 30 or even more. I would argue that cyber is more a trade or a skill. And so when you look back in time and you say, well, how did we teach for half a millennial, how did we teach a trade or a skill? We used a journeyman apprentice approach. So the first thing that I did is I looked at putting a journeyman apprentice model together, which is there are journeyman cyber practitioners, and we have these young apprentices that we're trying to teach. The second thing that we did is a team-based approach. I formed something called fire teams, 5 to 7 people, and I gave them a fire team lead, journeyman. So the team was made up of apprentices, and they had a journeyman instructor, and so learning occurs in a small group, and most of it's hands-on learning. The other thing that I'm looking at is personality traits. So there's some people that can be innovative and extremely creative, and there's some that are really good at taking conceptual ideas and engineering them to a solution. And so your teams not only have to leverage this kind of zone of proximal development, but they also have to be able to leverage the dynamics between someone who's innovative and someone who can actually take those innovative thoughts and put them and bring them to reality. And so the other thing that I do in that teaming aspect is I look at the makeup so that I have that right distribution of creative and engineers and more capable and less capable peers, so that you have this nice stew of learning.